Alright everyone, welcome back to another episode of Triad Expeditions, and in this episode we are continuing our Maverick X3 modification series with a front fuse block installation. So we had done some previous videos with a rear fuse block and also had installed a Switch Pro in this X3, and we are going to put a fuse block in the front that will pretty much be the same thing. So if you've seen that video of the rear installation, this is going to be familiar as far as the technique. Should be a shorter video because really what I want to show you is just basically the choices that we're making as far as where to put this fuse block. We know that there's not a whole bunch of space in these cars. The good thing is they're very easy to route wires because of how open everything is and the lack of really trim and componentry. There's all kinds of just holes here and there, especially when the panels are off, and the panels come off very easily. So what we're going to do is we're going to mount the fuse blocks and the relay and the other things in here. Obviously we're going to be sacrificing our glove box storage, but that's no big deal. Obviously most things that you put in there, just like your car, you kind of forget they're in there in the first place. So most of the gear that we're going to count on tool wise will be in our tool bag, and if we need to, we're looking to put some Blue Ridge overland gear storage pouches here and there, so they're definitely going to make up for this storage here. So alright, well, I'm going to get to it. As you can see, our green positive from the rear circuit breaker is sitting there on the floor, and we are going to run that up and put that to our relay. So if I run into anything that is interesting, I'll definitely show you, but most likely the next thing you'll see is just pretty much the final product, and I'll go into depth as far as the componentry and how I went about it. So alright, well, that didn't take long. So I do have some things I want to share with you, I'm willing to admit when I almost made a big mistake. I was going to I looked at this glove box and I looked in that area and I thought, I can just run some screws, they're not going to be very long to mount the Blue Seas and also the relay. And I thought, maybe I should pull that out of there. It only looks like a couple of screws, so that way I can at least maybe peek behind it to see, if there's anything that I can actually like mess up, right? Drill, screws into it. That's a good practice always, and I know that a lot of you know that. So I did pull this out, and I want to show you real quick in case you had missed it in the previous videos. This hardware varies in length and in washers, and some has washers, some don't. So just wanted to show you again this little trick. Draw a picture of where what it is that you're taking screws out of, and then basically just poke holes in the box there to put your bolts in, and that way you don't have to guess at it, and things will go back together the right way and much quicker, because you can just kind of visualize everything and put it all back together and grab it, and it organizes it. So so I just thought I'd tell you about that again. But getting back on the topic, the big thing that I could have ran into was, in fact, the fuel tank. And I don't know why, like in this previous video with the Switch Pros, I was like, I don't know what that hose is that runs down through there that has red on it and high pressure fittings. That definitely is fuel type fittings, but yeah, it's the fuel line, and it's the fuel line because the fuel tank's up here. You forget about that because it's kind of a weird fill that's over here, to go in that, and I don't know, this isn't typical, right? So nothing about these are typical, so I just kind of forgot, that is the fuel tank. So just to kind of share with you in case you're not familiar with the fuel tank. I'm not, obviously, but I do know some things about fuel tanks. little bit. Have quite a bit of experience with installing them and other knowledge of them and the workings of them. So pretty sure that the fuel pump would be inside there underneath this cap, and this is what's normally referred as to the fuel basket. And so that is the things I don't know about. If you know, in fact, that the fuel filter is in there, make sure to comment below and educate us. Also, the fuel filter will most likely be on the bottom of the fuel pump, and it's just like a screen mesh filter. And I don't know if there's any other fuel filters other than that. So, you know, if you end up having fuel issues, that could be the problem, is that the fuel mesh is clogged. So, and then this is what's commonly referred to as the rollover valve. So it's kind of like the vent, you know, for the tank. And let's see where this goes. Yeah, this goes. It's just like a. Oh no, it goes down there somewhere. I don't know where that goes, but anyways, but that's what that's normally called. It's just like a vent, you know what I mean? So that way the tank doesn't pull a suction, you know, as it's pumping. So they have like a metal bracket here on top to protect the screw off. These can be pretty hard to get off. If you need to get in there, like a chisel with a hammer is a pretty good plan, or like a flat bar or something like that, and you just like hit it and spin it around that way. Not sure if you guys have ever had problems with these, but you know, it's not a very big tank. It does go up underneath the center console also, so definitely keep that in mind if you ever decide you're going to start screwing down into things. And then these are the fuel tank straps there that go to this crossbar, so they run underneath there, and they're just kind of bare metal like normal. So I don't think those are going to rust anytime soon, but you know, obviously I might put some fluid film down in there maybe just to kind of protect them a little bit, because yeah, that doesn't look like it's going to go very good. So I started thinking about this. I know I'm rambling on and kind of getting a little random here with my thoughts, but I thought that you might be interested in seeing some of this. So what my other thoughts were is that, and by the way, if you ever need to take this off, these are like, they basically pull out and then push sideways, and then they stay on there. So I am going to, obviously we're going to put some lights up on top of this, and one of the things that you know, I'd seen done was basically to drill into the roll bar and then fish your wires. That is, you know, go here, drill a hole and fish your wires internally to the roll bar, and then go up and route them across up to your lights. And the only thing about that is that, you know, you really kind of need to make sure that you keep it snug at the bottom and then keep it snug at the top, so that way that wire is not just rolling around in there. But I think as long as you do that and make sure to anchor it good, maybe I'll drill a hole, you know, here in this plate or whatever. But this is kind of good timing with first off learning more the anatomy of the car, but I needed to get access to this anyways. So, you know, pulling this apart and doing this fuse box is really pretty good timing in that part. All right, I guess enough about that. So all right, moving on. All right, wanted to show you some progress here. So a couple of things to talk about. First off, I had those rubber grommets, and I know that looks excessive, but actually with the two lines going up to the roof rack, that will be for that. One of those being a ground, and one of those being for the circuit breaker, and one of those being for the positive for the fuse box. So I actually probably could have put another one in, because obviously there's going to be other things that will go to the switch probe maybe from this end of the car. So but that's good for now. I can always add them pretty easily later, but I went ahead and did that while I was at it. And then at this end, I went ahead and put one for the what will probably end up going to the windshield washer fluid, and windshield going up to the top, up the A pillar. And also, obviously, we know two of those are going to the roof lights. So the two sets that are going to be wired separately, those are going to be I'll tell you right now what those are going to be, just so you know, but obviously we'll talk about it later. I'll probably run those before the light bar rack gets here, but those are going to be 312 wire that's running up there. So one of those will be ground, and then one will be backlight, and one of those will be for the main light. So that's kind of the plan there. So getting back to the box, we have our relay located here. You don't want to turn those upside down because they're not really weather resistant, in that, you know, the case kind of just fits on there. Some of them obviously more than others, but I didn't want to sit it upside down and risk basically some condensation making its way and basically turning the thing into like a swimming pool eventually. So this way, at least the most weakest part of the relay will let it drain. So then we have the blue C's. Now I did turn that upside down because I wanted to have access to the top post, the positive post there, and then what you see here is our ground bus. So, and I'll put that wire from the bottom as it comes in there, and yeah, so I just wanted to show you that. I know you know, there's going to be quite a bit of wire that's going to be running through here, so I think it's going to be actually pretty good use of space, and it's definitely going to make it a nice wire chase to get to the A post, so that any wires that we want to run across the car, you know, even like our chase lights, you know, we can run through here. So up the A post and you know, out and over the or through the interior of the roof, but still that's a good way to get to the back quickly for something that's already going to be mounted up high. So yeah, so anyways, I think it's going to work out pretty good. All right, continuing on. Alright, so let's summarize on the fuse box installation on the front here. There's a lot of stuff that I still have torn apart, and the reason for that is there's still a lot of electrical accessories that are going to be installed on this. So I didn't want to basically button it all up for you, and I just want to show you and basically explain again what we did here. So inside the glove box there, we have that 200 amp relay there just to the left of where the plunger goes, and then we have the bus bar. Now that is a covered bus bar, I just don't have the cover on it right now, so don't freak out too much. And then that is the Blue Seas fuse box there that holds 6 different accessories, and it does not have its own ground. That's the model that I ordered, and I'm pretty happy with that idea, because the further down that gets, the harder it will be to basically use a right angle Phillips head to you know, make those connections. So and then, you know, the wires are coming through. We have the hot that goes to the relay, then we have from the relay we have the line that goes to the fuse box. Now this is all 6 gauge. And what I ended up doing was I ended up using the really high quality clear mounting, double-sided mounting tape that I have on hand. And I mean, that stuff is very solid. I mean, there's just no worries that it's coming off there. The beauty of that was I didn't have to drill or put any screws through that could possibly you know, come in contact with the fuel tank, and that would be a bad day if that happened. So definitely don't want any fuel leaks. So we did run our wires down through here, and I know all this is really hard to see, so I'm just going to comment on a couple things as far as you know, how it all went through there. It went through there just fine. I did drill some holes here in this support, so that way I could fish wires through there, and I made sure that they were not going to vibrate or move. Even those micro vibrations can really have a bad effect on those wires. Let me do something real quick. I want to cover this up. These have like little button covers that you can cover up your terminals. So I did tap in once again to the protected side of this circuit protector, that's 30 amps, and so that if any 3 or any one of those lines coming off of that go basically, you know, go dead short, you know, it's going to trip this. So, or hopefully it would trip it. So that's 10 gauge on there. You know, it's pretty sturdy, so it's going to hold up for a little while, long enough before it, you know, catches on fire, you know, to trip that. So that's good. And yeah, so, you know, some of you might be wondering, well, why do I need something other than the Switch Pro? You know, this definitely frees up stuff like that you need power to, that has its own controls, like the windshield wiper and washer. And then the other thing that we're going to install with this, sorry about the texting in the background there, is that we're going to put like a USB charger in that aluminum HMF or whatever. We'll do a review on them, these side covers, these aluminum side covers. So we're going to put a handy little Blue Seas charging port, double USB charging port right here at this kick panel, and that will definitely be nice to do, you know, to charge things and stuff like that. So yeah, we'll be able to run cords down there, and they won't be up and flopping around, they'll be off to the side there. So that is the plan also with that. All right, well, thanks everybody for watching. Hopefully you got some value out of this video. Make sure to subscribe and hit that notification bell so that you can see the videos that we have coming out. Still going to be doing the dome light video, working on that, and I have some pretty awesome things I'm going to show you about how we're going to wire that up, and some things that we just arrived today that's going to really make it much easier, and also components that we're going to use when we're wiring up our floodlights and spotlights up on the roof rack. So all right, be safe, take care, thanks for watching.